so much for joining us for another edition of the Bloody Legends with Jai, that Aussie metal guy, and Jim Taylor, brought to you by Crank.com. Make sure you're a bloody legend and hit that like and subscribe. Oi, legends, what up? It is time for another edition of the Bloody Legends with myself, Jai, that Aussie metal guy, and tonight, wherever you are, my ever-reliable co-host, Mr. Jim Taylor, where we bring you the most real and rebellious voices in rock and metal, but not only that, all over the bloody world. Today, we have a great guest for you, someone who I did have a chat through back in 2023, where I was going through a tough time, but he does embody the spirit of survival, swagger, and soul, and he is one of those people that has kind of stuck with me ever since I done that interview. Some interviews kind of stick out, and yours did, mate. Mr. Tony West, the frontman of the powerhouse known as Blacklist Union. If you've ever needed proof that rock and roll is still dangerous, honest, and healing, look no bloody further than Blacklist Union. They are back with a brand new single, Mississippi Moonhound, a swampy, snarling anthem that channels everything from pain and defiance to spiritual redemption. It is the first taste of their upcoming sixth album, Slay the Dragon, due out this September. Tony's been through the fire from the Bronx to the jungles of the Amazon, and we get to dive into some more of his music. Tony, thanks so very much for joining me, my friend.
Yes, thank you for having me. Good to see you guys. Pleasure to be here.
Mate, it's always been fucking good to talk to you, man. As I mentioned, that
Yeah,
one in 2023 did stick with me, man. You were one of those interviews through that time that kind of, I don't know, man. I got a lot out of that. You know what I mean? When you do these
I'm
kind
so
of things,
glad.
it's a give and take, man. But how has the last couple of years been for you with the singles and everything else and all the live shows and leading into this?
I mean, it's funny because people be like, "Yo, what are you doing lately?" I'm like, the same shit I've been doing my whole life, like playing music and telemarketing and taking care of my kids and but I can't believe it's already 2 years. That's nuts.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude. Yeah.
yeah.
And that Mississippi Moonhound, man, this track does hit you like a freight train through a swamp. Where did this track come from and what does it mean to you?
Man, I love this song. This song is about me actually, and that title I got from watch. I was watching a rerun of this old American show called Sanford and Son with Red Fox, and they were like, "Man, this is a Mississippi Moonhound." I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I wrote that shit down. But man, I just love that song, and I took another trip to the jungle. I've been there 3 times, Amazon jungle. So a lot of my inspiration spiritually and fuck emotionally, mentally, musically, it all comes from that because it's so deeply healing, especially for someone like you, bro, that's been through what you've been through. Like, because, man, I always say dis-ease, disease. If you hyphen disease, it's dis-ease. So whatever my bullshit is, whatever my pain is, like, if I don't confront that stuff, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, it manifests physically.
Yep.
That's truly what I believe. And we're all energy, man. So it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, damn straight. I've got a sidetrack here. Sorry, Jim, but that makes total sense to me. I've talked about a lot through this, and like, yeah, I did battle that sickness through cancer and that through 2023 in remission now, gratefully for a year. But then you're still left with the after effects, and I know a lot of people battle with things in their mind, mentally, and it does kind of bring you down. You could be on the up health wise, but then your mind could try and do everything it can to sabotage you. And I have had conversations about the ayahuasca and the micro dosing and that, and it's great that kind of society is starting to accept this and move a little bit more to the spiritual medicine. It's not a drug, it is a medicine. And what kind of emotional or creative breakthroughs did you kind of experience through these journeys over there?
I mean, there's really no way to put it in words. I mean, I
Yep.
started going to this because when my guitar player died, Todd Youth, who he played with Danzig, he played with everybody, man, Ace Frehley,
Yeah.
and he was my friend that, I knew him since I was 15. He didn't know me, but I knew him because I would go see his bands play and shit like that. And my I lost my first wife, I lost a girlfriend, and when Todd died, I was like, there's no way I can let this ruin my life because I had children. So a friend of mine, this famous tattoo artist, had planted the seed with me about ayahuasca, and then it's not a trendy LA thing. It's like what it's becoming. It's a very serious spiritual thing, and where I went to the Grand Poobah. I stole that from the Flintstones, but I went to the Grand Poobah of the ayahuasca, which is the Shipibo Indians in Peru in the Amazon jungle. So, because what they do is, these Indians, man, they sing these songs called Icaros, which that it protects you because you open up, man, and if people don't know what the fuck they're doing, like, man, that's not good. So, I mean, I can't even put into words what it's done for me because one of the biggest things was for me was so I lost so many people, dude. Like
Yep.
I mean, so many, and I was consumed with sorrow. I didn't even know like how much sorrow, and it just helped me expel so much of that. And then not only that, but you know, as a kid, I went through a lot of trauma and a lot of abuse and a lot of bullshit, and I made damn sure that my kids didn't go through that because that stops with me. You know what I'm saying? So
How important, that's so important, isn't it, though, Tony, to break that cycle? People
yeah,
probably look at us from the outside looking in, and I've got it as well, and they go, you got to sew together. Then you got to tell them a little bit of kind of what you've done and what you've overcame and how much you've used what you've gone through in a positive way as well. Like it's been tough and it's been so hard, but we've gone through so much, and having that music for you to kind of rely on and having that outlet and being able to go through these journeys and kind of understand your mind a lot more would have been so instrumental for you.
yeah. It's funny because one of the last times I did ayahuasca, when I did it, um, whatchamacallit, when I was starting to feel it, like I call it spirit because, and it's weird because the spirit, it has a female energy, man, which is, it makes sense to me. Women give birth, but a spirit told me, slay the dragon. And I was like, okay, like, I mean, like, I wasn't expecting to hear that, or I didn't never heard that before, or whatever. But slay the dragon, the beast, like I spent a few years chasing the dragon. That's ugly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so it's like
Yeah.
slay the dragon, and I got all these songs. There's so many great songs on this new record that's coming out. All Hail the King's another one. Wait till you see the video for the second single. It's called Up in Smoke. It's fire, man. Man, it's about we bring the fire, and we bring the fire live too. So
Oh yeah, dude. I would love to catch you guys one day live. That is for sure.
you're
And
in
you guys,
Australia, right?
yeah, yeah. You guys have always had a fearless, take no prisoners kind of energy, especially with your live performances. So tell me a little bit about carrying that forward for Slay the Dragon as well, while showing another side of you guys as well, a deeper, more spiritual side.
I mean, that all started with the letters from the Psych Ward record,
Yep.
really, when I started doing it. And I mean, who I am and who I was, it's completely different, man. It's just I don't sweat the small stuff. And it's like it's kind of all small stuff, really. And believe me, I always say like I'm not Gandhi, like I'm not floating away, but I'm doing way better than I was doing. You know what I'm saying? And man, I'm grateful. Gratitude is the key to abundance. So, but I wanted to tell you a story. Rose Tattoo just played out here,
Yes, yeah, I've seen that.
Ah,
and
Angry Anderson.
so we were on tour with the Dead Boys. You know the
It's
Dead
my
Boys,
last
right?
name too, Tony.
What's that?
My last name's Anderson as well. It was my old
Nice.
footy name.
Check this story out, right? So my friend goes to me. I don't know your band, Tony, but my friend Cheetah loves you. Do you know him? And I said, no. I said, the only Cheetah I know is Cheetah Chrome from the Dead Boys. And she goes, that's him.
Huh.
I'm like, wait, he told you about me? And she goes, yeah. So we end up doing tour dates with him, right? And they usually have Les Warner on drums. Les Warner played on the Love record and the Electric record by The Cult, right? So Les and Cheetah get in a fight. They get this fill-in drummer. The guy was such a douchebag. And like, we're not new, dude. Like, we shake hands, we remember names, we look people in the eye, we're respectful to everyone. I mean, that's just the way we operate. And this guy was such a dick. And, I tried diffusing and I tried accommodating and all this stuff, and he was just a douche. So by the last gig, I was like, you know what, bro? I love your band, your manager, your tour manager, I go, but you're a little prick. I go, why don't you try to hit me so I can beat your ass? And then that's exactly what happened. He tried to hit me and then I beat his ass, right? So anyway, months later, Rose Tattoo, my friends are filling in because some of those guys have visa problems or whatever. So a couple of my buddies filled in. Johnny Martin from LA Guns was on bass, and then Ronnie Simmons is on guitar. And I go, who's on drums? And they sure as hell, dude, it's the guy from the Dead Boys on drums, right? So I'm like, oh shit, the guy that's filling in. So I went to the show, man. I haven't had that much fun at a show in years. Rose tattoo's a
Mm.
huge influence on me. And so I made my way into the dressing room because I was like, there's no way I'm passing up the opportunity to meet, Angry Anderson. And I walk in, I'm like, hey, Angry, I go, I'm Tony from Blacklist Union. I go, we did a cover of Rock and Roll Outlaw, me and Todd Youth on one of our records. And he goes, yeah, I heard about that. And I was like, did you hear it? And he goes, no, I just heard about it. So we're talking and blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, listen, man, I better split. I don't want to make anything uncomfortable because I beat your drummer's ass like 4 months ago. And he laughed. He looked at me. He's like, what? He's like, come back in 15 minutes. I'm like, no, I'm good, bro. I just want to say hello and pay my respects and stuff. But yeah, so I got that going for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
But did you guys talk after that?
No.
Like,
No, no.
As soon-
No,
okay,
you'd
all
be
right.
like me. I'd be you. See, what are we talking about
Dude,
now, mate? I'm
the,
going.
the whole band was in the dressing room and they overheard me say, look, I don't want to make anything uncomfortable because I beat your drummer's ass a few months ago. And everybody looked and I was like, I better go.
Oh, we're cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Angry was like, come back in 15 minutes. Like he wanted to talk more, but man, they were
That's
so
very
great,
cool.
dude. I sang every word. The place was packed. I haven't been that excited about seeing a band since when Turbo Negro still had Hank in the band. I don't know if you
Oh,
guys are hip to
wow.
Turbo Negro, but
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
Like,
just wanted to share that story. What's that?
underrated band.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. Like, it's funny seeing. You mentioned Turbo Negro. Yeah, you think of bands that like just tore apart the stage, but didn't like get the chance to play a really big stage. But when you see them, and if you have the opportunity to open for them, you know how cool you would rather play for those guys than be like, oh, we're on a main enter big band here, and or rather be like, oh, dude, you
I,
know,
I always
they
thought it
want to
was
live it.
cool. I did always think it was cool, like bands like Rose Tattoo as well. Like, I know everybody's like, oh, AC/DC and that, but at the time, like Rose Tattoo
Yeah,
were doing some amazing things. So for me, I was always like, get a little bit more respect when you're like checking out the other bands because Australia had such a, and I know a lot of bands all over the world did, but Australia had such a prolific rock scene, especially at that
mm,
time. And it wasn't just the one-headed attack of AC/DC. There were bands like Rose
right.
Tattoo, even like Cold Chisel were absolutely killing it. There were so many
Min,
great rock bands coming out from the 70s at that time that didn't
even
get the
not hard
recognition.
rock, like Midnight Oil,
Oh,
dude.
Midnight Oil, dude. Peter Garrett.
Fuck.
The things that he done. Let's go. I get sidetracked here. Slay the Dragon, man. Tell us a little bit about the studio side of things. What was the vibe like this time? And tell me a little bit about making this album.
I mean,
Mm.
we went back to East West Studios in Hollywood. I love that place, and I especially love it because it's down the street from my favorite restaurant, which is Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, which is so ghetto, but it's my favorite place. And
It sounds good.
we worked again with Chris Johnson. He's been with us since day
Mm.
one. Since Todd died, Chris is not only our producer, but he's become my songwriting partner.
Yep.
So, and of course, he's worked with Evanescence and Buck Cherry and all kinds of people. But yeah, one of my favorite things is writing and recording, and I just love that whole process, and it's just so fun and so rewarding. So,
Did I see correctly? You got some shows coming up as well. Was it like Cruefest and a couple other
Mm.
things going on at the moment for this?
yeah,
Or
we have a couple things on the books right now, but we're going to probably do some tour dates soon here. We've got some stuff in the work, so. We're trying to get to man, we've been trying to get to Europe forever, dude. And where our Mississippi Moonhound is getting added everywhere in the UK and Europe, dude. So, hopefully we can get out there because we had a gig booked there last year, a festival, but man, we can't go out for one gig, like
Yep.
Right.
so we wanted to work some dates, or we're in a position where we want to do direct support, and actually one of my biggest influences, Warrior Soul, they do really good in the UK and Europe. We'd love to go out with
Yeah, yeah.
them. Bands like that. Like we like the more punk rock side of stuff too, because I grew up punk rock and
Yep.
I always shied away from like, the hair metal bands kind of thing, I've never really liked it, it's just not my thing. But I would love to go out with Social D or because I think those crowds would like us, just like Turbo Negro
Yeah.
has like a punk rock vibe, we definitely have that as well. So
1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah, like you would match, dare I say it, excuse me. Um, you have that, ha, how do I say it? You have grit with 1950s vibe.
nice.
Like I hope that doesn't sound insulting, man.
No, I'd love to
Uh,
go out with, Buck Cherry or even Steel Panther. Those guys are friends of mine. I
yes.
mean, we'd love to do that. Steel Panther's always been real good to us. I've known Josh and Stevie D for a long time from Buck Cherry,
I think they're due to come back to Australia sometime soon, so maybe try and get on with them, dude. I'd fucking love to have you guys come down under with a band like that. That would absolutely fucking kill, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a matter of time at this
And
point, man.
logistics.
Mm.
We just got to keep doing what we're doing and keep believing, and keep putting out quality music. I mean, uh,
So what's
You
the pl
always have, Tony.
Oh, damn straight, man. And the
Sorry.
last few
Sorry.
singles that we've dropped through 2024, Horns and Halos and Hey Mr. Superstar were both killer singles, man. Tell us about those ones quickly.
Indeed.
Hey Mr. Superstar was inspired by Josie from Saliva, who's been my friend for many, many years. And we lost Josie's son from COVID.
Mm.
He was 29, and when he was a little boy, I used to take him for ice cream and stuff. And you know, partly that song is in part about Josie and because I remember I went to Josie's first hometown gig in 10 years. He stepped away from music to save his life, basically, because, he was
Yeah.
fucked up, I
Right.
mean, that shit was fun back then, but it's amazing we all lived. But, when I went to his gig in Memphis, he said on stage, he said, I got knocked off the horse and I had to stand up and dust myself off. And, it chokes me
Wow.
up. I get goosebumps because this man lost his son.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
for him to say that, my goosebumps are crazy. But I was so inspired by him, and I've always been inspired by him. He's one of my favorite rock and roll singers. I think he's such an underrated singer. When people talk about Saliva, oh, click, click, boom. There's so many deep cuts, man. There's such great songwriters. Paul Crosby, the drummer, is my manager now. Um,
He's a good guy. I've
so
interviewed him as well.
Uh,
Really good guy.
so that's Hey Mr. Superstar. And then Horns and Halos, in life, it's like, I'm a huge Flintstones guy, and remember, like, Fred would have the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. So, like, the choice is yours, man. You know what I mean? Like, you can go to the light or you can go to the darkness, and but the only way to the light sometimes is through the darkness, which
Yep.
is rough. Some people don't make it out of that shit. So many of my friends, some of them famous, and had everything, they didn't make it out. You know what I mean? So. But it's all deep spiritual, healing stuff. And I like to write too, where it's almost like therapeutic, where I remind myself of certain things, like certain attitudes to have, or certain things that work to heal, or to stay tuned in this crazy ass world, whatever it is.
Exactly. We've got one life and we've got to bloody live it. We all fall down, and like that's the measure of a person is how they get back up. You know what I mean? And use the memories of the ones we've lost. Because I'm more a spiritual person as well than a religious person. So
Right.
it's the memories and the spirit of the ones that we've lost that we carry on, and how we honor their legacy is to show as to what who we are as a person as well.
Yeah.
Bloody great message there, mate. If you could leave listeners with just another message from Slay the Dragon, what would it be? One sentence, one truth, man.
Well, if you're dying for some kick-ass rock, I can tell you that we deliver the goods. So.
Look, I can't wait to get my hands on it, mate, and I can't wait to get you back on. I want to have you back on when that album drops, talk a little bit more about that. Jim, would you like to add in anything else, my friend?
No, sir. This is perfect. This is gorgeous.
Jim, where are you? Are you in Australia too?
No, sir. I am in central Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Near Carlisle, and Gettysburg.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Gotta have one.
Gettysburg as a kid.
Gotta have one ring in American, that's for sure. Tiny, do you have any last words you want to chuck in there, mate?
Just good to see you, and we're carrying the torch, man. You know what I mean, for all our fallen friends and all the people that still believe in rock and roll. Blacklist Union's here, and we're gonna rock that shit. Like I say, let's rock that shit.
Damn straight, everybody keep rocking that shit. Crank it fucking loud. Blacklist Union, absolutely bloody rule. Thanks again for joining the Bloody Legends, mate. You are a bloody legend, and always a pleasure to talk to you, man. Someone who does speak from the heart and scream from the souls. Legends, if you haven't already, go stream Mississippi Moonhound. I will put the description in this here. Keep your eyes peeled for Slay the Dragon, which is coming this September. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, jump over, grab some Blacklist Union, crank it really fucking loud because the neighbours are going to want to hear it too. Cheers, Tony.
Thank you, bro. Take care.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, mate.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai, that Aussie metal guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.